What's going on, YouTube, man? It's Margo and we back with another video, man. Welcome to the sanctuary. If you haven't been here before, we stand on nation business 24/7, 365 year round on this channel, man. No bullshit allowed. Today we are going to be talking about the four examples, the four methods of gaslighting, the four components of gaslighting. You feel what I'm saying? The four ways that you can effectively gaslight somebody. And it's not to give you guys tips and pointers. We're going to dissect these reasonings and give examples for them so you can help better avoid these in the future. I would say that it is a psychological manipulation. Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation. If we're going to go by the book, we're gonna look at the what's in there. We're gonna look at the definition right now. Actually, I'm about to look it up real quick. But yeah, man. So this word became trending about like 2-3 years ago. It's always like, you know how they be bringing up words from back then or whatever, or bringing up the scientific terms and making it the new word to call people and whatever and just abuse. That's what they did with gaslight. You feel what I'm saying? I've been called a gaslighter my fair share of times in the last 2-3 years. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not going to lie, it's not something that you should really take offense to, because in order to be a gaslighter, you have to know how the human mind works to an extent, and you have to know how the person that you are manipulating to an extent. You feel what I'm saying? You have to know what they are going to say, how they're going to react, and all. But the thing about gaslighting is that it's not just lying. You are literally you have no concern for that person's mental state, and that's why it gets so much backlash. That's why it gets so much coverage on it. Because when somebody says gaslighter, you immediately lump it in with the words like narcissistic and all of these different terms to define people that are bad. You feel what I'm saying? But we're going to look at the definition right now. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where a person deliberately causes another to doubt their own beliefs, sanity, or memory. It involves an imbalance of power, with the gaslighter undermining the victim's trust in their own reality. Gaslighting is an insidious technique that can be practiced over an extended period. You can make it seem like what they're thinking is bullshit and what you're thinking is right, that you're the person to come to when you need the truth, when they need the truth. And you can convince them, you can coerce them into thinking that everything that everybody tells them is a lie and that you are the source of truth. It really get deep when you realize that most gaslighters, bro, if we being real, most gaslighters don't even know that they're gaslighting you. If we keeping it a buck, it's not even poor communication skills. What I would say for most things, it's just having a lack of empathy. You know, that's what a lot of liars have. They have a lack of empathy because they don't realize how much the lies that they tell can damage you. And when somebody gets constantly gaslighted and they keep letting it go on and they can't really stop it, it takes a toll on their mental health. That's why gaslighting is such a problem nowadays, because there are a million different ways to gaslight somebody. You can also use their insecurities against them. You can literally if you can make somebody's mind work against them and make them become compromised, you literally have complete and utter control of that person. That's why a lot of the times where you see people that are brainwashed or whatever, or you see these people in cartoons and sitcoms, probably like Lab Rats or Mighty Men, when somebody is being controlled, it's not just some chemically engineered thing. It sometimes, most of the time, they're being emotionally manipulated. They're being lied to. They don't know the full story of what's really going on. It's a whole lot more things that go into gaslighting than just telling somebody that they're wrong and that you're right. Gaslighting behaviors vary, but some of the most common gaslighting behaviors include outright or subtle lying, undermining a victim by belittling them or humiliating them, being cold or cut off from conversation by withholding affection, attention, or information so that problem solving becomes increasingly difficult. Pay attention to that last excerpt. Being cold or cut off from conversation by withholding affection. These people that are fake nonchalant, these people that try to act like they don't give a fuck, these people that try to act stoic. We already went over what stoic was in my other video. If y'all haven't checked that out, just type in Mark going up stoicism. That shit will pop up immediately, or you can just scroll down my channel. I talked about stoicism not being that you don't give a fuck. It's being that you're going through something. You're being placed in a situation where most people would break down or most people will react, and you're just not reacting. You're not showing that you are under this amount of stress. You're just stone-faced through the whole thing. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't even bother you. And once you adopt that type of energy, you can apply it to everywhere else in life. But the thing that's dangerous about that is that there will always be people trying to half-ass it. People wake up, people really wake up. You know how a kid wakes up and be like, from a dream and be like, oh, I can fly, I'm Superman. And they try to fly and they can't. These people that try to say that they're nonchalant got fed up with a situation to a point, or maybe they're just trying to be nonchalant to be cool. We will never know. I will never be one of those guys to try to be something I'm not, or try to convince myself something I'm not. I'm not nonchalant. I give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But I can also act like I don't. The people that are very chalant have this skill. It's not stoicism because they still show their emotion. It's literally a cold cutoff. Being stoic is a manly characteristic, a manly trait. Men can show that they care without still being heartless and cold. People that gaslight are used to being cold, and they cut off conversation by withholding affection. You ever try to talk to somebody, or maybe you trying to get back into it with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever, and they keep giving you the cold shoulder and and they make you constantly overthink and beg for them to, what's wrong, babe, That's a form of gaslighting. It's also a communication issue. They can communicate, but they choose not to, and it fucks with your brain. Gaslighting and liars is that it all connects, because when you tell a lie, or when you subtly lie, you only tell a lie for one or two reasons. You're wrong. You only tell a lie because they can't prove you wrong. You know they can't. Or because you actually think that they'll believe it. Just off your word. You feel what I'm saying? So it's either the opposite of the boy who cried wolf, or they scrambling for evidence and eventually can't find it, so they have no logical choice but to believe you. And when you put that type of power in somebody's hands, and they run across somebody that hasn't been gaslit before, or hasn't gone through a bunch of traumatic experiences, including like psychological manipulation, they'll fall for this shit very easily. And the outright lying and subtle lying, it doesn't get to me anymore because I've been through it. But take a newbie, you feel what I'm saying, that's not used to this shit, he's gonna get pretty fucked up. He or she's gonna get pretty fucked up. And this is how you can avoid it. Keep in mind, for handling gaslighting in the moment, if you've been gaslit, it's important to show your compassion and remind yourself that you are not at fault. This kind of ties into what I was going to say. Remind yourself that you are not crazy, bro. This is literally what they want you to think. They say little things and throw little things out just to, let's picture this right here, right? Let's say you texting your ex, texting my ex, right? And she's like, we're texting back and forth. And she's like, see, I mentioned, I'm like, hey, bro, don't you got some other niggas to talk to? Don't you got a boyfriend? And she's like, I didn't say that. You see what she just did? She didn't answer the question, right? She didn't disprove this. She didn't say, no, I ain't got no other boyfriend. I ain't got no other people I'm talking to. She completely ran in a circle behind the question and made a statement. Gaslighters typically have enough communication skills to know how to control the entire conversation, or if they can't control it, they can at least shift it in their favor of high ground. So when you put yourself in the position to where you're asking somebody a question that is a known manipulator, a known gaslighter, you already lose. You lose because they can make up any story, any lie. They can dodge the question. They can bend the truth. They can do all sorts of things to make you feel like that you are not, you overthinking this shit. You're not right in the head, or maybe they're actually right. Or maybe, damn, bro, this doesn't make sense. You feel what I'm saying? So the easiest way you can avoid that is don't ask questions. Literally, you can play their game. Most gaslighters, most are very emotional, but some will try to switch the turn off. I know because I was one. Because I used to, gaslight on a regular. Yeah. Take that with a grain of salt, though, because I'm trying to give you free game. You feel what I'm saying? You learn basketball from a basketball player. You feel what I'm saying? Same shit. You learn how to play Fortnite player from a nigga that's already played Fortnite. Same shit. So, let's just say she says that, right? What would you even say to that? She says, I didn't say that. I remember personally, I was arguing with my John. This is last year, by the way. This old shit. I was arguing with my John. And I was like, bro, the way you talking, it seems like you don't even give a fuck. Like, what's going on? Like, do you not care? John hit me back like, I didn't say that. This is how you catch them in there. You gotta challenge it to the full extent. Showing me. This is what you're giving me on the paper. This isn't verbatim. This is just a summary of what I said. I'm like, this is what you're showing me. What am I supposed to do with this? And then she came clean. She explained herself to me. Gaslighters rarely explain themselves after you broken down what they said. It's kind of like they're retreating from that point. They're pulling back. Okay, what I said was false. Here's what it actually is. And the way you can tell that is the truth is by the expression on their face when you say it, or I guess within text, because there's no tone in text. You can tell based off knowing that person. I ain't gonna lie. I knew the John, so I knew what she said to me next was some bullshit. She basically broke the whole shit down. She was like, hey, I do care. You just get on my nerves sometimes, and I feel like you trying to battle with me, this, that, and the third. That's literally what she said. You can't manipulate somebody if they're not giving you anything to manipulate. If you don't let them inside your mind, what I say, communication is key to unlock the barriers and the locks to the mind. Okay? So if you don't exchange words and energy with that person, there's nothing for them to probe and manipulate out of you. You feel what I'm saying? There are also, let's say you're telling somebody a story. A gaslighter will counter what you remember. You guys could have both been there, and they'll counter it and outright lie, and make it as if theirs is factual, and you got it fucked up, and your mind is a little hazy. You feel what I'm saying? That's another thing. They'll act like you're in denial, or what does it say? What's the full thing? I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's one of those things that once you learn the word, once you learn what the word means, gaslighter. Once you learn what the word gaslighter means, you realize everybody in your life has ever done that shit to you, even if it's on the smallest magnitude. You realize how much you have been fucked up. Okay, so denial or forgetting. Denial or forgetting involves the person intentionally forgetting something that they told you or promised, or denying that it ever happened in the first place. This is also outright lying. but you can't prove because you're not in their brain. You don't know what they forgot. You don't know what they remembered. You can't prove it. This is the biggest thing about gaslighters, bro. You can't prove it's true, so I have to be right.